So Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, led of course by Warren Buffett, and J.P. Morgan, led by Jamie Dimon, are now teaming up on health insurance. Okay then. So according to an article in the New York Times, the three companies, which got together, of course, to do health insurance or something for their employees, provided few new details about the new entity, other than saying that it would initially focus on technology to provide simplified, high-quality healthcare for their employees and their families at a reasonable cost. Okay, so fascinating, but I don't see why it's going to impact a lot of people. Well, let's get into the story a little bit more. So right now it's for families and or employees and their families. Okay, or it will be, and again, we don't have a lot of details. But what makes this interesting, and I think is what's generating a lot of buzz, is what they're saying about the costs, how much it costs. They said the initiative, which is in its early planning stages, will be a long-term effort free from profit-making incentives and constraints. Oh, interesting. So, look, you got my interest, right? Now, of course, I'm going to explain why this is a potential game changer, and also while it will most likely fall flat and change nothing. So, game changer plus changing nothing. Okay, let me explain. Now, back to the New York Times first. The partnership brings together three of the country's most influential companies to try and improve a system that other companies have tried and failed to change. Amazon, the largest online retailer in the world, which, by the way, pays their workers substandard wages, and their warehouses are, I'm kind of blanking out on the word here, but apparently they're very torturous to work into, or work in. So anyway, Berkshire Hathaway, of course, holding company led by Warren Buffett, and J.P. Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the United States by assets, and of course, one of the companies that is responsible for the 2008 financial crisis. Wonderful. So you got a great collection of people there. Bezos is actually, I think, one of the richest people in America now. Crazy. Anyway, now I'm going to go to a quote here from Ed Kaplan. Now, he negotiates health coverage on behalf of large employers as a national health practice leader for Segal Group. Now, he said, quote, "It could be big." Okay. He said those are three big players, and I think if they get into healthcare insurance or the healthcare coverage space, they're going to make a big impact. So, but the question is, what kind of impact are they going to have? Now, he said of the health insurance companies right now, quote, "There should be a way to avoid things like that, but they're not really innovating. He said they're talking a good game, but they're not really doing it. So they're talking about innovation and the lack of innovation in health insurance. But here's the thing. What incentive would a health insurance company have to innovate? All they're there is they're just a middleman, right? They take your money, and then you get into an accident or whatever. First, they'll argue with you and make sure they can do everything they can to not pay you, and then eventually they will pay you. But mostly they're there just to make money off you. But they're saying, Berkshire Hathaway and Amazon and all that, they're saying, no, that's not what it's about. It's actually nonprofit. Fascinating. Now, before I get into more analysis, I actually have some more quotes. Bezos, Amazon's founder, said in a statement, quote, "The healthcare system is complex, and we enter into this challenge open-eyed about the degree of difficulty. Hard as it might be, reducing healthcare's burden on the economy while improving outcomes for employees and their families would be worth the effort. Success is going to require talented experts, a beginner's mind, and long-term orientation." So, yes, is healthcare complicated? Of course. To put it, or to say it, I guess, as the president put it, nobody knew healthcare would be so complicated. So, Buffett, he said, quote, "The ballooning costs of healthcare act as a hungry tapeworm on the American economy. Our group does not come to this problem with answers, but we also do not accept it as inevitable. Rather, we share the belief that putting our collective resources behind the country's best talent can, in time, check the rise in health costs while concurrently enhancing patient satisfaction and outcomes." So, okay. Again, there's a lot of language in there. Um, right wingers are probably going to jump on collectively putting our resources. How dare you? That's socialism, right? I know they've got this big thing about Warren Buffett and all that stuff. But anyway, he's a billionaire. He's a capitalist. Not exactly who we need running healthcare. But anyway, now the announcement, interestingly enough, highlighted investor worry about Amazon disrupting the healthcare industry. Shares of United Health were down 5% in pre-market trading, while Anthem's were down 3.5%, erasing many gains the companies have made over the past 12 months. So why do I tell that to you? Well, that's because they're worried, right? Oh my God, Amazon has disrupted the vaunted marketplace. But they haven't really given any details, other than the fact that it's not going to be profit-centered. But that's enough to scare these health insurance companies. And look, I think that shows the broader success of the movement towards getting Medicare for all. So these health insurance companies, when they see, oh, crap, something's going to actually impact our profit, well, let's get scared. We're going to get scared. We're going to get scared. Now, but this isn't that, okay? This isn't single payer. This isn't Medicare for all. This is, what this reminds me of is the Swiss model, right? So let me explain what the Swiss model is real quick. They have, I believe, what the stated goal of the Affordable Care Act was. Full private insurance that is universal, right? Now, they are mandated to get insurance by the government. But the difference in the Swiss model is that these companies, these insurance companies, are not for profit. So they're nonprofit entities, which is an interesting way to run health insurance. But also makes me ask, what the hell's the point? Again, if in a capitalist system, if you're not running a health insurance company for profit, then what are you actually doing? It doesn't really make any sense to me. But then again, it is what it is. Now, as I said, coverage is mandatory, and the government subsidizes you if your insurance premium is higher than 8% of your income. So this is the Swiss model. Now, there's also some things that have that are free, okay, no charges. For example, if you're pregnant. However, most things do have a deductible that can range from cheap to, obviously, a little bit more expensive, but far less expensive than the American system. And that's just a basic outline. There's actually a lot more to that system. But the point is, that is a model that is actually more effective than our current system. They pay less for premiums because these companies are not for profit. That said, that system, well, not the system really, but Berkshire Hathaway, JP Morgan, and Amazon getting together to do this, it's not going to completely change the system. It's not going to force employers to go or I'm sorry, not employers, but that's not going to force health insurance companies to go cheaper. Some might, but healthcare costs will continue to rise regardless, because there is no way in our current system, in our current framework, that will lower those prices, that will keep prices low, because companies, again, are not incentivized to bring prices down. They're incentivized to make more profit. For this to be effective, all insurance companies would also need to not be for profit, and there would have to be some sort of guarantee from the government to subsidize people who can't afford the premiums. That we don't necessarily have, and I don't expect to keep it that way under a Trump presidency. And besides, we have a better alternative already. Medicare. Why not just open it up? Look, Trump's a moron, but even he asks, why can't everybody just get Medicare? Look, the Bernie Sanders plan, and you should definitely read up on it, because he explains all the stuff that it would do and actually how we pay for it. It would not only expand healthcare to everyone, but it would also improve Medicare. It would add dental and vision and all the stuff that's actually really important. And again, we can pay for it, right? Because here's the thing. We already spend so much on our healthcare system as is. We wouldn't be adding that much additional spending to it. If we replace what we have with Medicare, so we could eliminate Medicaid, eliminate private insurance, which means no more subsidies to insurance companies, and funnel that money into covering everybody under Medicare and also expanding what Medicare actually covers. Now, health insurance companies could still have a role. They could still provide supplementary plans, things that maybe are not covered under a Medicare system, and you'd have to work out the details on that. But nonetheless, if we open up Medicare, that saves us money in the long term because Medicare is much more cost efficient. It actually has a less overhead than private insurance. So, and not only that, but the government will then have leverage through Medicare to negotiate with hospitals and drug manufacturers in order to lower prices. That's actual cost controls. Well, this, again, is explained on Bernie Sanders' website and was talked about at length during Bernie Sanders' Medicare town hall. So, yeah, instead of having the three biggest companies get together to try and do this weird Swiss but not Swiss model of health insurance for their employees and their families, instead of doing something like that, Warren Buffett's time, Jeff Bezos' time, and Jamie Dimon's time would have been much better spent lobbying for Medicare for all. Let's actually expand what already works. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.